Good evening, everybody, on what is a tragic day, a sad day for our football club. I wanted to just start the stream, obviously, by expressing our channel, our community, and football's support and love for Diogo Jota's family, for his brother Andre's family, of course, for his wife and his three children and his parents. Today is a day where there is no playbook, there is no right and wrong, there is no way to adequately express the sadness that we're all feeling. The intention behind tonight's stream is purely one to give us an opportunity as a community to express our admiration, our sympathies, our love for Diogo, his brother Andre, and their families and what everybody is going through. We didn't know what best to do today, but I felt as soon as I woke up and read the news that I needed to give you guys a place to come and have your say and respect Diogo and share your thoughts on the situation. After this evening, we won't be posting, we won't be putting out content, we won't be doing anything until next week at the earliest. But I felt it was the right thing to do to come on tonight to give us all a chance to express ourselves because there is no playbook for this. There is no way to adequately express the sadness that we all feel today. Like myself, I'm sure you all gone through every range of emotions today, from anger to fear to dread to sympathy to everything. And I just felt like it wouldn't be right if we didn't come on and help each other because that's what this is about. That's what you guys are about. That's what our football club is about. So we've obviously turned off super chats, adverts, and everything else because tonight is about one thing only: sharing the hurt that we're all feeling and helping each other to try to best get through it. So, as you can see, we've got a link to Mind, a mental health charity, pinned to the top of our chat, and it's also in the description of the video. If anybody is struggling and anybody needs to reach out for professional help, I've personally attended Mind meetings in the past and it certainly did help me. So we wanted to make sure that everybody knows that that's there as well. I'll also start by reading out some statements from the football club, and of course then we'll come in and share all of our feelings. I don't know what to say at times like this, but I know I don't want to be alone, and I can only imagine that others probably feel the same. So, I'm going to start off reading the statement from Arne Slot, our head coach. He said, "What to say? What can everybody say at a time like this, when the shock and the pain is so incredibly raw? I wish I had the words, but I know I don't. All I have is feelings that I know so many people will share about a person and a player we loved dearly and a family we care so much about. My first thoughts are not those of a football manager, they're of a father, a son, a brother, and an uncle, who they belong to the family of Diogo and André Silva, who have experienced such unimaginable loss. My message to them is very clear: you will never walk alone. The players, the staff, the supporters of the football club are all with you. And what I've seen today, the same can be said about the wider family of football. This is not solely a response to tragedy, it's also a reaction to the goodness of the people involved and the respect that so many have for the boys as individuals and for their family as a whole. For us as a club, the sense of shock is absolute. Diogo was not just our player, he was a loved one to us all. He was a teammate, a colleague, a workmate, and in all those roles was very special. I could say so much about what brought him to our team, but the truth is everybody who watched Diogo play could see it. Hard work, desire, commitment, great quality and goals, the essence of what a Liverpool player should be. There were also parts that not everybody got to see. The person who never saw popularity, but found it anyway. Not a friend to two people, a friend to everyone. Someone who made others feel good about themselves just by being with them. A person who cared deeply for his family. The last time we spoke, I congratulated Diogo on winning the Nations League and wished him luck for his forthcoming wedding. In many ways, it was a dream summer for Diogo and his family, which makes it all the more heartbreaking that it should end like this. When I first came to the club, one of the first songs I got to know was that of our fans singing for Diogo. I'd not watched him previously, but I knew straight away the Liverpool supporters, who have seen so many great players over the years, had such a unique chant for Diogo. He must have had special qualities. That we've lost those qualities as such terrible circumstances is something we've not yet come to terms with. For this reason, we need everybody at the club to stand together and to be there for one another. We owe this to Diogo, to André Silva, and to the wider family and ourselves. My condolences go to Diogo's wife, Ruth, their three beautiful children, and to the parents of Diogo and André Silva. When the time is right, we will celebrate Diogo Jota. We will remember his goals and we will sing his song. For the time being, we will remember him as a unique human being and mourn his loss. He will never be forgotten. His name is Diogo. The club have also announced today that they're going to retire his number 20, which I think feels right. Next, I'm going to read out a statement on behalf of Billy Hogan, John Henry, Tom Werner, and Mike Gordon. On behalf of the leadership team at Liverpool Football Club and Fenway Sports Group, we offer our sincere and heartfelt condolences to the family and friends of our number 20, Diogo Jota, and his brother, André Silva. The tragic situation and the reality of it is truly shocking. Devastating, and has left us numb with grief. We therefore cannot imagine how the immediate and wider family of these remarkable brothers must be feeling. Our thoughts and prayers are with them all. We all know Diogo could do on the field of play, the vital role he played in our success, and he joined the club in 2020. How he quickly became a firm fan favourite, and his song reverberated around Anfield and in stadiums across the world. So many special moments, so many special memories. But beyond the player, we all knew there was a wonderful human being. He was sincere, intelligent, funny, tough, and created connections with people everywhere he went. He had a zest for life that was utterly contagious. Diogo was a loving father, son, husband, and brother, and we and everybody who knew him miss him deeply, and we all tried to process the enormity of today. Rest in peace, Diogo and André. You'll never walk alone. Billy, Tom, John, and Mike. The club also posted this is proved to be his final flourish in football, saw Diogo Jota become a Premier League champion and a UEFA Nations League winner. The number 20 will be rightly immortalised for his contributions as part of our 24-25 title winning campaign, the club's 20th, with his trademark shimmy and strike in front of the Kop to seal victory in April's Merseyside derby, a poignant last goal of his life. To arrive at this particular season with the title I've been chasing for a lot of years in the best league in the world, for me where I dreamed to play as a kid, it's a moment I will cherish forever, he said. It's a day that just doesn't feel real, guys. And, you know, I want to read through some of your posts, comments and thoughts, of course. Tanya said, hard stream tonight. It is, but it's important, you know, because despite the fact that we as football fans, you know, at time can be fickle, we can play on form, we can work off emotions. It's the outpouring of emotion that always brings us together. And I knew that I needed to touch base with you guys tonight, and I dare say I think a lot of you guys and girls around the world probably feel the same. You know, the easy thing would have been to just stay away from it, but I know I need it, and I think you guys do as well. So please do share your thoughts, your favourite Diogo moments. You know, to see the man be married a couple of weeks ago to his childhood sweetheart and have three beautiful children, it really does just bring it home to us all that, you know, life moves very quickly, and you know, certainly don't take it for granted. Tony said, Diogo's walking with our heavenly brothers now. They'll never walk alone. Michael Dunstan said the right thing to do is to retire the number 20 and respect for Diogo Jota, another respectful actor, retire from the LFC jersey. Eddie said, I thought losing my wife in 2017 was hard, but losing Diogo and this unbelievable rest in peace, Diogo and Andre. Um, it is, it's just surreal. It doesn't feel real. You know, we don't know these people, but we worship them, we idolize them. And entertainers, musicians, sports stars, we all feel a connection to them because they're living our dreams. And when we lose one of them, it feels like, even though we don't know them, we've lost a friend, somebody important in all of our lives, somebody who've given us incredible moments. You know, the club spoke about that goal against Everton. It was the most Diogo Jota goal, wasn't it? The shimmy, the drop of the shoulder, the tidy finish. You know, he didn't have things the easy way in life. He fought his way to the top with his perseverance, his hard work, his great attitude. And it just sucks. It just sucks that the world lost two good men today. He was close friends with Kelleher, and Kelleher hasn't posted anything. He must be absolutely devastated and heartbroken, said David. Didier Vin Diesel in the chat said, stick together and let's do it for Diogo. My favourite was the one against Spurs, said Verdure. The last minute winner against Tottenham will never be forgotten, said Salakama. Yeah, you know. So in these moments, as I said, people grieve and work in their own unique ways. But I do feel like, you know, when I lost my own father, I wanted to celebrate. I wanted to celebrate the good things that he put into the world. And Diogo certainly left us many wonderful moments to think about, whether it's the promotion with Wolves back up to the Premier League, whether it's winning the Nations League with Portugal, marrying his childhood sweetheart, playing for the greatest football club on the planet. I think the outpouring of emotion that we've seen today from Cristiano Ronaldo, from Neville, Carragher, other footballing greats, you know, Diogo was a special person. He was somebody who always came across incredibly humble, incredibly aware of the role that he has and the influence that he had in people's lives. And it just doesn't feel real. I just keep coming back to that. It just does not feel real to wake up and see this. He'll always be our Diogo, said Evan Donoghue. Remember the Fulham performance with the red carpet for Robbo? He brought us back to that game. Forever our number 20. I mean, I'd seen that there were people outside Anfield earlier on with their guitars singing Diogo's song, which is a beautiful way to remember Diogo. And I'm sure, as Arne Slot said, the club in time will celebrate Diogo. Virgil has also posted and he said, man, I can't believe it. I don't want to believe it. Absolutely devastated and in total disbelief. What a human being, what a player, but most importantly, what an unbelievable family man. You meant so much to all of us, and you always will. For your family to lose two sons, a husband and a father, is unimaginable, so cruel and unfair. My heart is breaking for all of your beautiful family, for Ruth and for your kids. I promise you that in these difficult times and beyond, we will always be there for your family. Champion forever, number 20 forever. It's a privilege to have stood by your side on the pitch and to have been your friend off it. We will miss you. Beyond words, I'll never forget you. Your legacy will live on. We'll make sure of it. Rest in peace, Diogo and André. Cal said, what we do echoes in eternity. RIP our number 20. Keane said, was Everton's last ever goal. Love from Belfast. Eddie said, the parents must be distraught. They've lost two sons in one day. It's, you know, you've got his parents obviously losing both their kids. You've got his wife and their beautiful three children, you know, who he only married. And I'm sure people know this at this point, but they were childhood sweethearts, you know. It was a picture book, life. You know, he married the girl that was there from day one. Only 28 years of age. It's it's impossible to comprehend. You know, it just is. Um, Great touch with the digital condolences book, Liverpool. Yeah, balling type of a message there. As I said, there's no playbook in this, Carl. You don't ever want to think or plan for a day like today, but I just couldn't not touch base with everybody today because selfishly, yeah, I need it as well. Um, I wish we were here tonight chatting through our plans for the new season. This is a tough watch, but I still need to be here. So Dominic Wyatt, thank you, Dominic. Uh, Big thank you to all the national teams and the women's Euros and all the clubs in the club world, in the football world, who've given a minute's silence. Yeah, it was beautiful to see that as well today. Whether it be the Paris Saint-Germain team preparing for the Club World Cup game, women's teams at the Euros, Wimbledon giving players the ability to wear a black armband on their players' tops. It's you know it is always good to see people come together to look after each other, to celebrate somebody's life like this as well. But it's still at that raw stage, isn't it? So one thing I did want to just say was, after tonight's stream, we're going to be offline until next week at the earliest. I just felt like, as the leader of our community, I needed to be here with you because we need to share our feelings, because I know what bottling up feelings is like. And yeah, I just want to be here with you all tonight to grieve with you and to celebrate with you, a remarkable human being. We're always gonna have times where we're on a player's back or we think they aren't playing well, but deep down, when all is said and done, these people impact our lives in remarkable ways. Keane said, Craig, Liverpool fans all together in your stream, just what we all needed this sad time. I was at the Everton game, his last ever goal he scored. He'll live on in our memory. Always Diogo. Angie, how are you, my friend? Said, I'm devastated beyond words. It's heartbreaking. So, when you wake up today and you look and you just see email, and you see the headline and Diogo died, and you just think, no, this can't be right. Still doesn't feel real. And like I said, these guys and girls, athletes, musicians, actors, they all help us through our lives with moments of magic, and we live vicariously through them at times, and we celebrate their achievements as if there are achievements. And I think there's that unspoken connection that we don't know these people personally, but they touch our lives and influence our lives in only positive ways. So I think it is really important that we mark that respect. Just numb. Feels like I've lost two family members. The sadness of it is unbelievable, said Robert Moore. Philly Red said, we must go and win number 21, as Diogo's 20 is the only one. It is a lovely move from the club to see that they're retiring the number 20, which I believe in such an exceptional circumstance they should. But yeah, as I said, I just want to give you guys now a chance to express yourselves, and I'm going to read through as many of the comments as I can. Paro said, life took a humble man, a guy that gave his everything to what he's done. I haven't stopped crying all day and never thought a man I never knew could touch me in such a way. He'll never be forgotten. And that is the magical aspect of sport. Like we've said, we don't know these people personally, but we celebrate with them. We live through them at times. They're living our dreams, and Diogo lived it in such a humble, respectful way. Never came across as anything but a family man, somebody who battled hard to be where he is, and you can see the respect and admiration from Porto, from Wolves, from Atletico Madrid, from his national team colleagues, from the Liverpool family, and I just want to say as well from the greater footballing family to everybody. I'm sure you're all the same with all of your own friends and stuff, but I've had people reach out to me today, content creators from other channels and other football clubs, and everybody has nothing but respect and nothing but kind words to say about Diogo, and it speaks to the character of the man and the way he lived his life that people are celebrating what he has achieved and celebrating what he is and what he stood for. Um, that to me gives me comfort to some extent. Kevin John said, unbelievable news. I was shocked when I got message this morning. It's terrible news. 21 in honour of Diogo. Celestino Tanner said he was such a humble person as well. Better than Figo, don't you know? Said Terry Healy. Michael said, you're a really brave man. So's Connor. I couldn't have done this stream tonight. I couldn't have not done it, Michael. As soon as I heard the news, there was no other thought in my mind than we have to talk, because people need to share. People need to feel this together, and people need to process it as best as we can, because I have never experienced something like this. We think of these guys as superhumans, as being immortal to some extent. We see them out there on a football pitch and they might as well be wearing a cape for us because they're superheroes. How does everybody even approach next season? Sure, if we win, we want to celebrate, but I can't help but feeling this will be with us for a long time. I can't even fathom what his family, what they're feeling, and of course his teammates. The guys are supposed to be reporting back for pre-season training next week. How do you do that? Looking across, knowing that your teammate, your brother, isn't going to be there. I'm sure the club will provide all the support that they can. I'm sure that there will be avenues for everybody to grieve and share their thought processes, but it'll again show why football and sport are so special, because people are coming together, people are sharing their stories, sharing their memories, sharing their admiration. And one thing that's come across and that struck me today over and over again has been the word humble, because that is Diogo. We look at him, he just went about his business. He got stuck in, never shirked effort, never shirked responsibility, fought and clawed his way to where he was, didn't have it the easy way to get to the top in football. And the respect and the admiration from his fellow pros and human beings has been it's been comforting to see how highly he was held and in what esteem his fellow pros thought of him. Lewis said, respect, creating a safe space for people to come and reflect. I didn't know what else to do. I didn't know what else to do. I knew that I needed to be here with you guys, because I don't know, it's not something I've ever processed before, or we've seen footballers pass, but usually after a long and illustrious career with a full life and in old age, like the rest of us. But to be taken in your prime after just marrying your childhood sweetheart and have 3 beautiful children, what can you say to that? There's no rhyme or reason to that. There's no way to come to terms with that. I think it's anything but unfair. Heck said, I haven't even begun to think about what the future holds for our club. Too busy thinking about his family and how they must feel. I mean, there's silly things that have come into my mind today, like something as simple as, do the players go over to the funeral? Do the family want privacy in that regard? These are all things that I'm sure the club and everybody's trying to figure out, because this is not a day that anybody ever wants to think or plan for, because it's a day that nobody wants or should have to happen. It's just incredibly sad. And he'd had I'm sure you're aware, but he'd had a small procedure operation on his lungs, and he was driving to, I think, Santander to get a ferry because doctors advised him not to fly. So he was going to take the ferry back with his brother and then drive up to Liverpool to get ready to start pre-season. Even at that, he was following doctors' wishes and orders. He was doing the right thing. You'll never walk alone. 986 said this season will be for him. Frank Boyle said Neves summed it up perfectly. Never gone. Well, somebody remembers you, and Diogo's given us all lifelong memories. Luke James said Diogo Jota, this isn't about football. You're a true lovely human, amazing dad, wonderful husband and great footballer. You will be missed dearly. You'll never walk alone, to you and your family. And again, to people of all clubs who are in our chat tonight, who are coming in to just express your sympathy, thank you. Thank you for being the people you are. Thank you for acknowledging the pain that people are feeling and paying your respects. It certainly means a great deal to me and to, I'm sure, to our community as Liverpool fans, and it speaks to the good grace and class that you guys have, so thank you for that. Paul said it must have been a hard decision, but I'm glad you did. I've been numb all day. It's his family I feel sorry for. All my love and prayers to the Ogo's family. Yeah, I mean, you can't comprehend it. You can't rationalize it in your mind. You can't. I just devastated, like everybody else on. Yeah. Do you know if there's anything we can do for the family as a fan base? Said Alan Malone. Look, I think we have to follow the club's lead on this one. Whatever the club and the family feel is right, obviously we will all follow their lead and an example. And again, to our football club, as always, they do the right thing. Kenny Dalglish, Jurgen Klopp, Arne Slot, former teammates, everybody speaks so beautifully and so warm around Diogo, and it unites. Football brings us together, and even in this incredibly sad, dark moment, it's showing the respect a man was held in the footballing world. Ebad Imran said, love the decision to retire the number 20. As did I, mate. Yeah, as you said, it's one of these situations where you don't know. Somebody's injured, fair enough, you know how to deal with that. If somebody retires because of a bad injury or something, again, you know how to deal with that, and the club do, but you don't ever think these things are going to happen. And in the week that the final person was released from hospital after the parade incident, and we've no fatalities from the grace of God. And then Diogo today, I don't know. Life's just cruel. Scatter said, glad though he was able to have a great last couple of months in his life, won the Premier League, Nations League, got married, along with his goal at club level in front of the Kop against Everton. Yeah, as you mentioned, mate, certainly won the Premier League with Liverpool, married his childhood sweetheart, won the Nations League with his country. He certainly left a legacy that I'm sure over time his family and his wife and his children will be incredibly proud of. He'll certainly never be forgotten, either from our club, from football in general, or certainly the Portuguese football family either. I haven't seen one horrible comment from any rival fan. Amazing how we all come together when we need to. Yeah, and again, this is what I say. The football family are good people. All fans come together, to just pay respect. And that's what this is about, showing respect to Diogo. And it's incredibly moving to see that support from so many people who've come in tonight or have posted on message boards, or, even in your own friend groups, people acknowledging your pain and the pain that everybody's feeling right now. It's a difficult one, isn't it? He wears number 20. He certainly does. Kai said, Craig, an example of Diogo's class. Do you remember when he scored and he held up Diaz's shirt when his father was kidnapped? Yep, that was one of the first images Kai has seen today. Exactly that one you spoke about, when he scored and held up Lucho's shirt. He's an incredibly intelligent man as well. One thing that always struck you when Diogo spoke was he's a very clever man, a very intelligent, articulate man. Even on the football pitch with his movement, he knit things together for people. Diogo will be laid to rest on Saturday morning, said Kelsey. I hope he gets a send-off that he deserves. Such a warm-hearted human being who showed remorse and care when he could. May he rest in peace. Be up there playing with all the legends in Heaven's Pitch, said Donna. His legacy will be remembered. He wore the number 20 and the club will immortalise the number 20 in lasting tribute. And may God give his family and loved ones strength, said Taylor. So Mihail said, why isn't Salah posted yet? So can we not do this, mate? Respectfully, let's not judge anybody, because we all feel and see these things differently. So I don't know how Mohamed's feeling, and I certainly won't judge him if he posts or not posts, because there is no playbook for this. We all process emotions and feelings and hurt in different ways. Some people might want to hug their kids and spend time with their family that day to just remind themselves how lucky they are. Others may express themselves verbally or via text, but let's not judge anybody for what they do or don't do at the moment, because there is no right and wrong in this. Naturalist said Mo was cut short his holidays, travelling back to England. Sean said Salah has posted. Either way, like I've said, they will love him like a brother. They share the training pitch with him every day. They share jokes with him every day. Had a coffee with him every morning, They this will be hurting. This will be hurting the guys. Anyone that's ever played with him or met him, I'm sure, will be in a tough place this evening. Strange that we'll never see Jota on the pitch ever again. So, I've shared this with you guys before, but I have some shirts on the wall of my living room. And in the middle of those shirts is Diogo Jota number 20. And to just sit there today looking at it, it doesn't feel real. It just doesn't feel real. Spencer said, will his jersey be retired? Yes, mate. The club confirmed that today. And it's the right move as well, if you ask me. Anfield Sector just posted to say, I wanted to share these quotes from Diogo Jota's physio so we can all appreciate the man and the professional he was. To add some context before we go into it, Diogo Jota suffered an injury earlier in the season which left him with a lung injury, which is something he had to contend with during the remainder of the season. And his respiratory physiotherapist, Miguel Gonzalez, said this: I started working with him last Saturday and I was with him every day until Wednesday. I said goodbye to him at dinner time. He made an extraordinary recovery. He was undoubtedly an unparalleled professional. He strictly followed what I told him, as you could see in the way he was recovering. The base of his right lung collapsed a little bit, but with the post-surgery physiotherapy, he was practically flawless. When I left him yesterday, he was no longer in pain and was going to return to Liverpool. He was excited, confident in his recovery, and enthusiastic about playing next season. He told me that he would not go on the pre-season tour, that Liverpool is going to Japan to strengthen his recovery. He believed he was going to have a great season. And that, again, just speaks to the professional that he was in every sense. Physio saying he followed his instructions to a T to make sure that he could be at his best to come back to do what he loved. Taylor said, "This has made me realise tomorrow's never guaranteed. Just makes me want to hug my family tighter." You're right, mate. You know, my mum and dad said something to me when I was a kid, and I'm sure many of you guys do the same thing. But before I go to bed every night, the last thing I say to everybody, and the last thing that they all say to me, and I'm sure you guys do this at home, is "I love you." Because if anything ever does happen, those are your last words. And we all say them hoping that they aren't going to be the last words. But it is important in times like this to to hug your family, your kids, your friends. And it's also important to acknowledge and don't hide away from what you feel. If you're feeling sad right now, that's okay. That's normal. If you need to speak to somebody, as we said, mind charity, the number's in the chat. But it's not, don't feel silly. Don't feel anything wrong. How you feel is how you feel. Acknowledge that. Don't hide away from it, because it's important that you acknowledge how you're feeling. And if we can do anything, we're here in the chat. Please do keep your thoughts coming in. Stargirl said, "Parents have lost 2 sons. A wife lost her husband, and children lost their dad. I can't express what I'm feeling." 28 years of age, like I'm 43. And I have 2 kids, and I've gotten to see my daughter get to 21 and my son's 13. It just doesn't feel real. Hadn't seen my dad crying for a long time since my granddad passed, said Horace. Theo said, "How are you feeling?" Thank you for asking, mate. I don't know, is the honest answer. I don't know, because you think about what's the right thing to do. Do I sit back, do nothing? Do I speak? Like I said, I've received all kinds of different messages, posts today. Do stream, don't stream. I just did what I thought was the right thing to do, which is to be here with everyone, and after tonight, like I said, we'll take some time away and we'll all process and we'll figure it out from next week onwards. But I couldn't imagine not being able to process this with you guys, because like I said, I love you dearly. And I know that one of the things I always say is, when I meet people, they speak about the community we have here and the quality and kindness of the people in that community. So I knew tonight you guys would be here for each other and to share your pain and to take the burden of others' pain. It's why I love you all so much. It's good people. I was thinking and checking the whole day, "Where's Craig? Because your emotions are real, you're not fake. Knew you probably feeling it, just make a vid dealing with your feelings." I didn't feel like making a video was right. I felt like I needed to be here and interact. Recording a video just doesn't feel like the right thing for me. I know Goldbridge put out a video earlier on, and it's a very respectful video, and I seen he was even getting grief over it, and there was nothing wrong with his video. There is, like I keep saying, there's just no playbook for this. There's no right and wrong. You do what you think helps, and what helps you and what helps others. Jason, and thank you for highlighting this, Jason, said message of condolences available via online in Liverpool's official webpage, also at Anfield. Yeah, and you've seen today, the Wolves family coming together, the Porto family, the Portuguese family, the Liverpool family. You've seen other football clubs, fans laying their shirts in and around Molineux and Anfield, and it shows the power of football, the power of sport, and the connection that it gives us. And like I keep saying, these guys to us are superheroes. We think they're invincible, and they give us moments that we live through them at times. And as football fans, every Liverpool player that's out there is living our dream, and you can tell from Diogo that he never took that for granted. He never took his position for granted. He worked hard and was an honest, humble man, and that's, I think, why he's clearly loved and admired and will be missed by so many. Grant said, saw the news this morning and couldn't believe my eyes. Let this be a lesson. Life is sacred. Yes. Well said, sir. Well said. Blizzard said, still doesn't feel real. Our number 20. Jay said, I felt numb when I heard about Diogo. Michael said, we're one big family, Craig. Here for you, mate. Thank you for streaming tonight. R.I.P. Diogo and André. Donna said, the image that stuck in my mind today was an Everton and Liverpool fans walking together to lay flowers. Yep. That's why we love the city and its people so much, because at these untold hurtful moments, people put aside allegiances, rivalries, and the city that we all love, Liverpool, is no different. Scousers are good people, and Blues and Reds have always come together in these times of sadness. Anthony said, horrific news today, still sinking in. He was a fantastic player, always gave you hope when he came off the bench. You just knew he'd save the game, and often enough did. Thoughts with his family. So there was two things that has already been mentioned tonight in the chat. The goal against Everton in April won that game for us. And then that game against Spurs, where we thought we'd thrown away a lead, 3-3, and then Diogo goes down the other end of the pitch and scores the winner. Just moments that we'll all live with and remember forever, because of his fortitude and his desire to win and his desire to not accept a loss or a draw, to keep believing, to keep going. And it was that determination and focus that got the man to where he is, where he was, and why we all love him. Plexinated said, friends at school keep saying I'm soft for crying. When I saw the news on computers, they made jokes about Jota. So you're not soft for crying, mate. You're human, and don't ever apologise for it. Like I said, acknowledge your feelings, feel them. It's important. And I'm sorry that anybody chose to belittle you for that, but you're human, man. You feel feelings. It's okay. Peter Lawrence. Peter said, shocked and devastated. Thoughts, prayers to the brothers, families and friends. Jay Baker said, Arne Slot and Jurgen's words were amazing. I remember when he first signed, I was so happy. Got to see him play many times, and I'm happy for that. Thank you for sharing, Jay. Lewis said, I hope Liverpool leave his name and number as options for next season's top, as Diogo 20 will be on mine. It's a lovely sentiment, Lewis. Thank you, mate. George, how are we, George? Said, I was at the Spurs game and the Everton game. We'll always miss Diogo. His goal were amazing. They were perfect, R.I.P. King Kenny 7 said, humble, quiet, understated. As he said, I'm a small man with big dreams. Diogo, you made your dreams come true, and you made ours come true as well. You'll never walk alone, RIP. Thank you, mate. That's a beautiful sentiment. Stephen said, the emotion you're sharing is how we all feel today. Tears have been shed by me. This has hit so hard. I know, and it's a very unique situation, isn't it? We don't know Diogo, but we love him. We don't know him, but he feels like one of us because he is one of us, and he gave us, along with these other superheroes, some of the greatest moments of our lives. I'm a fat, bald Irish idiot that sits on the sofa, but I got to celebrate and live vicariously through these people, and the fact that our football club has not just great players, but good human beings like Diogo and Virgil and Mohammed and the rest of the team. Good management, it says a lot about our club. It says a lot about football in general. Ryan said, I'm good at beyond words. Absolutely loved him. Sing a song forever. Taylor said, my sister heard about what happened about the same time I did. Been struggling to stop crying for the past 3 hours. He'll be remembered forever. Him and his brother will never walk alone. Connor Bradley has also posted, and this is what Connor Bradley had to say. Jots, where do I start with an incredible footballer but an even better person? I feel really lucky to have spent a few years with you. Was always nice coming into the changing room in the morning and seeing you smiling and laughing and consistently calling me a hanger. Always remember the first time you invited me to your room to play FIFA. I think everyone knows where this is going. He was playing, and by halftime, I'm pretty sure I was 5-0 down. That was the last time I was ever falling into that trap. When I first moved up from the academy, you were always there for me and always helped me settle with the lads, which I'll be forever grateful for. My thoughts are with your wife, children and family for losing both Diogo and André. I can't imagine how tough this is for you all, as I know how tough this feels for me writing this. Love you, Jots, and I'm sure we'll meet again. Our number 20. And again, beautiful words from Connor Bradley. Just again, for people who maybe joined us a little bit later, if you bear with me, I just want to read through again what our manager, Arne Slot, has written, because I think it's worth reading again, because I think, again, like Jurgen before him, he just gets it. He knows what to say, and he knows how to express better than I could. So I'm just going to read through this again. He said, what to say? What can anybody say at a time like this, when the shock and pain is so incredibly raw? I wish I had the words, but I know I don't. All I have are feelings that I know so many people will share about a person and a player we love dearly and a family we care so much about. My first thoughts are not those of a football manager. They're of a father, a son, a brother, an uncle. They belong to the family of Diogo and André Silva, who have experienced such an unimaginable loss. My message to them is clear. You will never walk alone. The players, the staff, the supporters of Liverpool Football Club are all with you. From what I've seen today, the same can be said of the wider family of football. This is not solely a response to tragedy, it's also a reaction to the goodness of the people involved and the respect that so many have for the boys as individuals and for their families as a whole. For us as a club, the sense of shock is absolute. Diogo was not just our player, he was a loved one to all of us. He was a teammate, a colleague, a workmate, and in all those roles, he was very special. I could say so much about what he brought to our team, but the truth is everybody who watched Diogo play could see it. Hard work, desire, commitment, great quality and goals. The essence of what a Liverpool player should be. And he's damn right about that line. The essence of what a Liverpool player should be. There were also the parts that not everybody got to see. The person who never saw popularity but found it anyway. Not a friend to two people, a friend to everyone. Somebody who made others feel good about themselves just by being with them. A person who cared deeply for his family. The last time we spoke, I congratulated Diogo on winning the Nations League and wished him luck for his forthcoming wedding. In many ways, it was a dream summer for Diogo and his family, which makes it all the more heartbreaking that it should end like this. When I first came to the club, one of the first songs that I got to know was that of our fan singing for Diogo. I'd not worked with him previously, but I knew straight away that if the Liverpool supporters, who've seen so many greats over the years, had such a unique chant for Diogo, he must have special qualities. That we have lost those qualities in such terrible circumstances is something we've not yet come to terms with. For this reason, we need anybody at the club to come together, to be there for one another. We owe this to Diogo, to André Silva, to the wider family and to ourselves. My condolences to Diogo's wife, Ruta, to their three beautiful children, and to the parents of Diogo and André Silva. When the time is right, we will celebrate Diogo Jota. We will remember his goals and we will sing his song. For the time being, we will remember him as a unique human being and mourn his loss. He'll never be forgotten. His name is Diogo. And I think he nailed it. And I think Jurgen has as well. And the football club and their response and the players and our captain, of course, Virgil van Dijk, all say. First game of the season, every player should wear Jota on their back, said Jeff. Slot is a true professional, said Ben. Robbo's post hit the hardest for me. Seeing what it's like to truly lose a best friend. It's it's going to be very difficult for those players and for the staff as well. And of course, his family, that goes without saying, but I don't know how do you go on from this? Like, what do you do? Supposed to be pre-season training next week. It just doesn't feel important, does it? On a day like today, it's just, I don't know. Cam said, I think of Trent in this moment. I'm sure he's hurting immensely. All things aside, I'm sure he is, as he shared a dressing room with Diogo as well. Bacon Bap said, I've been numb all day, still hasn't sunk in. R.I.P. Diogo. Dan O'Connell said, I'm devastated. I'm with you all. Thank you for everything, Diogo. I mean, this from Liz is just simply true. Just love each other. Absolutely. And Ryan as well in our Discord said, and I've said this on stream many times, love has to win. Love will always win. No matter what we face and see, love will always win. And love will help us through this in what is, I don't know, it's just an incredibly difficult, dark time that, So confirmation that the funeral of Diogo and André Silva takes place Saturday morning in Gondomar, Portugal. It's where his career started, at the Academy of Gondomar Sport Club. Joshua Beat said, just gone to the ground to lay flowers, and it just doesn't feel real that Diogo was gone. I know. I've seen, mate, like I mentioned, all the clubs, at Porto, at Molineux, where Wolves play, obviously at Anfield. It just feels so surreal. If we ever see people laying flowers or wreaths, it's usually for, somebody who's passed after a long and eventful life, not a young man at 28 years of age. And Kaj said Saturday, that's quick. It's not really, to be fair, mate. I know in the UK sometimes funerals are a couple of weeks, I think, but certainly here in Ireland anyway, when we lose a loved one, usually a funeral within 2 days. Again, I don't know if Diogo's a Catholic, I don't know what religion he was, not that it matters, but certainly over here we would have a funeral within a couple of days. Paro said, Robbo's message absolutely wiped me. It shows how close they were and says how good a man Diogo was. Life is simply unfair. Mark, could you send me on, or Connor, Robbo's post? I haven't had a chance to see it, and of course I'd like to read out Robbo's respects. Philly Red said funerals are pretty quick in the States too. Cod Patrol said in the UK a lot of the times it's 3 weeks wait. Yeah, as I said, I certainly know that in the UK it's different, but for us in Ireland, and again, as I said, I don't know in other parts of the world. Usually, when my father, or my grandmother, or anybody passed, it was usually 2 days. Thank you, Mark. So, Mark just sent me on what Andy Robertson has posted, and he said, the ones I'm thinking about most right now are the family. Their loss is too much to bear. I'm so sorry that they've lost two such precious souls, Diogo and André. For the team and the club, we'll try to cope with this together, however long it takes. For me, I want to talk about my mate, my buddy, the bloke I loved and will miss like crazy. I could talk about him as a player for hours, but none of that feels like it matters right now. It's the man, the person. He was such a good guy, the best, so genuine, just normal and real. Full of love for the people he cared about, full of fun. He was the most British foreign player I've ever met. He used to joke that he was really Irish. I tried to claim him as Scottish, obviously, I even called him Diogo Jota. We'd watch the darts together, enjoy the horse racing. Going to Cheltenham this season was a highlight, one of the best we had. The last time I saw him was the happiest day of his life, his wedding day. I want to remember his never ceasing smile from that magical day, how much he was bursting with love for his wife and family. I can't believe we're saying goodbye. It's too soon and it hurts so much. Thank you for being in my life, mate, and for making it better. Love you, Diogo. Again, beautiful words from Andy Robertson. Jeremy said it's so surreal discussing his on this channel. I know I don't. It all feels surreal, mate. We've never met, mate, but I'm proud of somebody who can stand in front of the Liverpool family and offer genuine support. Thank you, Jeff. I didn't know what to do, mate, because obviously I didn't want to upset anybody. Um, but I just felt like this was the right thing to do for our community, just to be together tonight. You know, I often speak about selfishly during COVID how you guys were my only connection and were each other's only connection a lot of the time. And I don't know if I'd have gotten through that year or so without you guys in my life to share laughs with and jokes with and frustrations with. I've become a man on this channel with you guys. I'm a better person because of you guys. And this football club has led me to you guys, and Diogo's part of that history and that will never ever be forgotten by any of us. Despite, like I say, we all have times where we're not happy with a player for something, be it a missed chance or whatever. But deep down, the connection we feel to them is, you can't put it into words, because they're, like I keep saying, they're heroes. They're supermen. Pro Stock said, I don't get emotional. That's not me. Seeing you with tears in your eyes and knowing how everybody else is feeling has brought me tears. A dark day in the history of our club and football. Yeah, today nobody should have to feel. Yeah, I'm going to keep reading comments for another 15 minutes if that's okay, and then I'll see you guys at some point next week, but I just want to keep reading out some of your beautiful sentiments. Scouse Will said, Had to go back to work today, mate. It's probably helped me out. As I was in bits this morning, same as you and everybody else. Um, if only it wasn't for that injury he received at Chelsea back in October, he would have just flown instead. Yeah, you can't think that though, mate. You know, none of us can. You'll torture yourself. We'll all, we all have gone through these things. You think, if only this had have happened, or if only I had been delayed by 2 minutes. There is no sense to it. There's no way to change it or figure it out. It's just hard. And again, like so many of you have said, I can't imagine what his wife and his three beautiful children and his parents are feeling right now. His parents have just lost both kids. A child that they just seen marry his childhood sweetheart. Just doesn't feel fair, does it? Deutscher Copbite said, God bless Diogo, we love you forever. Your song will reverberate around Anfield for all eternity. R.I.P. Diogo and André, you're always in our thoughts and in our family. Schmungus said, we'll remember you forever, Diogo. Our number 20 always. We'll fight for you, win for you, and celebrate you forever. Your energy and fire will last on the pitch and in the dressing room. Paro said, Craig, I was in mental rehab for 9 months or so from August last year, and you've no idea what you did for me. This community is an amazing one, and we all have each other's backs. Yep, I don't think I'd be here without you guys, mate, like I've said. So Jason said, Craig, can I raise a glass with you for Diogo? Feel so broken today. Absolutely, mate. Sláinte. First goal at Anfield is going to be a really emotional one, said Swap Neil. Richard Andrew said, I'm really, really sad. Diogo and his brother passed away. I'm an Arsenal fan and he always did so well against us. Prayer for his mum, his wife and his kids. And friends, respect to Liverpool and their fans too. Yeah, he defo tortured you guys. Yeah, Diogo definitely loved scoring against Arsenal, mate. He really did. Forever immortalised the number 20 in the next one. Yeah, the club will be retiring the number 20, and again, feels like the right decision. Carl, so if you're lucky enough to have somebody in your life, and especially kids, please, please, please grab them. So tight, never forget to say love them. Again, completely agree with your sentiment, Carl. Marius said, I've seen some Man United fans requesting minute silence for the 20th minute in their upcoming match at Old Trafford. Class. Look, I always say this, mate, about our rivals in Manchester. Their fan base, like ours, are good people. They're always people that ruin these things. But my experience dealing with fans of Manchester United over the years has been only good. The banter's always there, but the respect, they get it. They understand it. And I always remember the support they showed me personally when I was going through a dark time and when things were piling on. So I know that there's always more good in the football world and community than there is bad. It's just sometimes sad that it takes some of these type of moments for us all to realise and to come together. But it is, again, a reminder of why our sport is so special. The outpouring of emotion today from fans of all clubs from all over the world is it shows you the esteem in which the man was held. And of course, it's really important not to forget his brother in this as well. It wasn't just Diogo's life that was lost today, it was his younger brother as well. And I can't imagine what his parents must be feeling. WWFC said, love the fact you're retiring number 20. I think it's a beautiful gesture. Hopefully do the same with 18. It's his number, isn't it? Diogo. 20 is his number. It is just him. I was even trying to think back. I can't even draw the dots of another player. It's just Diogo, number 20, Diogo. And I'm terrible. I've always been terrible at remembering numbers. Like sometimes I couldn't even tell you off the top of my head what certain players were now. But you always knew that, and it's that amazing song that, again, the creative brilliance of our fan base to come up with these beautiful anthems and songs for the players. It always starts with, he's a number 20. The Teenage Aspie said, I'm a Watford fan and had the honour to watch Diogo multiple times at Vicarage Road. Seeing the universal impact this has had just shows the mark of the man. He wore the number 20. My favourite thing of Jota was his cheeky smile before he scored an absolute screamer. And not overly celebrating either. Just get the ball back to the halfway line. Let's go again. You know, that goal against Everton, which will be his last one for us, it's his goal. It is the archetypal Diogo Jota's goal. If you said to me, simulate a Diogo Jota goal, that has the ingredients of his goal, doesn't it? Clever movement, knowing when to shoot, what area to shoot into, not having to put the laces through it, just football intelligence personified. Al1 said, I don't think it's happened before to a player who's been playing at a high level, still had a lot left in him. This is really unusual feeling. It is, mate. It is. Oliver Sinclair said, take every day as it comes. R.I.P. Diogo. I felt like crying today. Football does not matter on a day like this. Condolences go out to his family and Liverpool fans, coming from a United fan. Thank you, mate. Brad said, I remember in the 21-22 season at home against Arsenal, my God, Diogo was on fire. Yeah, he owned Arsenal, didn't he? He did. It's funny, though, that certain players do have clubs like that, like Mo and United, that they just have this great knack or record of scoring against. And certainly, yeah, whenever we played Arsenal, Diogo was... you're not surprised to see his name on the score sheet, were you? The fact Richarlison scored the equaliser in stoppage time to make it 3-3, and then for Jota to score the winner again in stoppage time, was an amazing feeling. I remember that game. I remember the frustration of feeling like we thrown that win away. But he didn't. He didn't give up. He didn't feel like it was over. He went up the other end and latched onto a ball and won the game. And that's why we're sitting here now acknowledging him in the esteem that we do, and rightly so. Jason Hammond said, always remember him telling Leicester fans to F off after the penalties. Couldn't love him more. Love you, Diogo. Daza said, his last goal, the way he patted the badge and pointed to the ground to say he was staying here. Yeah. Folks, thank you for coming on tonight and sharing your memories and your respect of Diogo with us. Thank you for helping me, and thank you for helping each other. Like I mentioned, we're going to lie low for a few days now, and we'll be back at some point next week. But take care of yourselves, take care of each other. Keep being there and keep supporting each other, and thank you for being good people, and thank you for being part of my life. I'll see you soon.